In a small town living rough, times were hard and life was tough. On the porch we'd find our peace, talking about the land of the free. Stars and stripes in the sky, blue and red lines standing high. But beneath the freedom's call lies the story of us all. A conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. Thunderstorms and desert plains, echoes of our joys and pains. From the heartland to the coast, it's the simple things we toast. The conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. They're fast American space.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host for the evening, the Celtic Mutt, and I am normally joined by my beautiful bride, Mrs. Mutt. However, she's not feeling 100%, so she will not be joining us this evening. We do wish her well. The reason I'm chuckling, ladies and gentlemen, I just realized that I had sent out a text just before the show to our sponsor for tonight's show, which you will see in the scroller across the bottom. It is the soapartisan.com, which is where Mrs. Mutt and I do get our handmade soaps. Never let it be said that the Mutts American Mosaic does not support private or personal businesses. We are more about the mom and pop shops than we are the big box stores. But anyway, I was sending out a text message to the artisan, and I realized that autocorrect had turned the word scroller, which is what that is, it's running across the bottom, to stroller. So it said that I was running the stroller across the bottom of the screen. I just had this image of a baby being pushed under a television. So yeah, that you gotta love. Autocorrect, yeah. Anyway, tonight's topic is a much more serious topic than that. It is the spoon theory, and I'm going to share a little bit about my life as a spoonie. Not a spooner, although if you ask Mrs. Mutt, she'll tell you that yes, but a spoonie. And some of you may find that you yourselves are spoonies. This spoon theory came about in 2003 when blogger Christine Rizamendino was out to dinner with some of her friends and was trying to explain why it was that she would get tired so easily. You see, Christine suffers from lupus, and that can be very, very debilitating. So she picked up a handful of spoons, and she said each one of these spoons stands for a unit of energy. You know, and everybody has a set number of spoons now, that they wake up with in the morning. Now, your set number of spoons may vary from day to day, but, you know, by the end of when your spoons are done, you're done. You know, it may take a spoon just to get out of bed. It may take you 2 spoons to take a shower. It may take another spoon for you to get dressed. Another spoon to get the kids up and ready for school. Another spoon to make breakfast for all of you and lunch, and you haven't even left for work yet or to drop the kids off at school, and you've already gone through basically about a third of your spoons if you have like 30 spoons. That's like literally like 10 spoons of energy just to get up and going in the morning. And you've already gone through a third of them. You haven't fought traffic. You haven't, gone through your day at work. You haven't fought the traffic to get home from work. So it can be very, very debilitating. Now, you say, what causes one to be a spoonie? Well, there's a number of things. Chronic illness in this country is unbelievably out of control. I was floored when I read that 6 out of every 10 Americans, that's 60%, ladies and gentlemen, 60% of of all Americans suffer from some form of a chronic illness. Now, that includes such things, excuse me one second, that includes things like arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, chronic migraines. I like to include hydrocephalus, spina bifida, scoliosis. Anything that affects the skeletal system can affect your muscular system, can affect your energy level for the day. And Christine Rismandino wrote an essay that she put on her blog. Again, all of this was in 2003, explaining all of this. The name of her blog, if you want to go check that out, is youdon'tlooksick.com. But you don't look sick. It's butyoudon'tlooksick.com. And she does an excellent job of kind of explaining what a spoonie goes through in the course of their day, just to get through the day. Mac, get well, Mrs. Mutt. I will. She's listening. I think she's upstairs listening on her phone. So any messages that come through, she may see them in the chat. If she doesn't see them, she's got her eyes closed, and because I asked her to go up and lay down, she was just that frazzled. I will read them out to her so that she knows. So thank you, Mac. How are you doing, by the way? We were really worried about you after the storm out there in Carolina a couple of months back. We didn't hear from you for a while, and we were getting real worried. But I digress. For me personally, I like to include. I also like to include the big C, or as I like to call it, because that's what it is, and I don't like shortening words, and I'm not very PC about things. Cancer. Cancer can be very debilitating and very energy draining, and it just can wipe you out. I mean, the chemo can be worse than the actual cancer in some cases. And I'm speaking again from personal experience. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an oncologist. I'm just stating personal fact. It wiped me out. I'm still suffering from some of the side effects, I think. The doctors are saying that some of the stuff that I'm dealing with now isn't from that, but I have a very hard time believing it, considering it started with while I was still on chemo. I've got severe edema in my legs. Yes, I'm on medications for it. Yes, I am seeing a specialist. In fact, I have a meeting soon to go see that specialist for it. So I have a very hard time when they tell me no, they have nothing to do with each other. I'm not buying it. Tamara, how are you, sweetie? Good. I'm glad to hear it, Mac. You were missed. I want you to know that. For those of you who don't know, Mac Mac McGregor, 1962, is a longtime listener here on the Mutts American Mosaic. He was even a listener before it was Mutts American Mosaic, when it was What's Your America Look Like? So, Mac, I am so glad that you're still here. I really am. And I mean that sincerely. But back to what I was saying. It just drains it just drains the energy right out of you, I can literally, I'm getting my energy back slowly. It's slowly coming back. But, there were times when I would get out of bed, come downstairs, and I was done for 3 hours. All I had done was gotten out of bed and come downstairs and was done. Especially a day or two after therapy, the energy levels were just astronomically in the drink. You're not. It's not a good spoon day. I'm sorry, sweetie. angry spoon. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tamara. I am, because I know what that's like. Some of us like to include mental illness in anxiety, depression, in that, because that can also drain your spoons very quickly. As someone who also suffers from anxiety and depression, I can tell you that on those days when it's really hitting hard, I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to get out of bed. I do, because I'm not going to let it win. But I don't want to some days. And it just is a very debilitating thing. It just can completely just crush you, if you will. But no, hold on a minute, folks. My notes just disappeared. Oh no! The thing that I was quoting about anxiety, not anxiety, I'm sorry, fibromyalgia, arthritis, and a few of the others, I got that while looking through a doctor, and I'm going to crack up and I'm going to have to spell his name for you. I'm pronouncing it Fanae. It's Faneee, Fanae. I don't know that I'd want to go through life like that. I can't imagine trying to have the last name of Fanny or Fanae. That would crack me up. How are you today, Dr. Fanny? Stop being a butt. That would be my sense of humor. I would make that joke, and I know it. And they would probably immediately throw me out. And then I'd be like, wait a minute, no, I need to see the doctor. But anyway, give me 1 second, folks. You gotta love when your notes just out of the clear blue say, "Nah, we're not gonna work with you today, Mutt." I keep everything on Google Docs, and the Google Docs just said, "We're gonna shut down on him in midstream." So I'm not normally this organized, although lately it's been a little rough. Like I was saying, though, the spoon theory is actually a metaphor using a physical. Christine used physical spoons. She picked up several, and she said each one of these spoons stands for a unit of measurement. And like I was saying, it can include things like cancer, spina bifida, hydrocephalus, and a slew of other ailments. Now, the ones that are most commonly associated with the spoon theory, and I'm just recapping this real quick, since I just was able to pull up, and I don't want to leave anything out. According to Dr. Fanay, which if you go to his website, it's meetdrfanae.com. It is Fanaee. He only lists arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, and chronic migraines. I tend to disagree with you, Doc, on that one. There's a slew of others, but he says those are the most common mentioned in the Spoonie community. And so, I mean, if those are the most common, what about those of us who don't fit into that common box? And believe me, I don't fit into a common box. Like I was also saying earlier, an example is you start out your day brushing your teeth would take 1 spoon. Getting dressed would take 2 spoons. A shower, another 2 spoons. Making lunch is another spoon. You've already gone through literally about a third of your spoons for the day if you only got, say, 30 spoons for your whole day. That doesn't include, like I was saying, driving to work, putting up with the crap at work that you're going to end up having to deal with. It's going to stress you out, or driving home, or stopping at the grocery store on the way home because you forgot that gallon of milk, and you need it for the next day. So there are things that are factors that we don't think about if we don't have this situation. I mean, if you're not a spoonie, if you're in that lucky 40% and you're not a spoonie, you don't think about it. You're just like, well, why are you always so tired? Why are you always canceling? That's because they don't understand that we only are allotted so much energy, and we have to figure out, okay, what's more important. We've got to maneuver that maze of how are we going to get through our day. And sometimes that can just be frustrating. But, and Christine nailed it when she called her blog, "But you don't look sick." To quote my favorite TikToker, and yes, Ruby, I'm going to shout you out. To quote Ruby Santiago, who was the person who first introduced me to the spoon theory. When she says, when somebody says to her, "But you don't look sick," she comes back with, "Well, you don't look like a doctor." So I kind of can relate to that. I've had a couple of occasions where, one in particular recently, where a doctor made the critical error of telling me, "Well, I know what you're going through." "You do, doc? You know what I'm going through? You mean you've gained 80 pounds of fluid in the course of like 3 months? You've had colon cancer? You've undergone chemo?" "No, doc, you haven't done any of those things. You weigh 150 pounds. Your life is perfect. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it." And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what I told the doctor. I told him he didn't have a clue what I was going through. Yeah, I'm not the one, doc. You got me confused with somebody else. Have a good night, sweetie. All right, Tamara. You have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, Tamara. Hopefully on Ruby's channel. But anyway, I just, this has, when I found Ruby's channel, this kind of resonated with me because people have always, we're not lazy. We are not lazy. Spoonies aren't lazy. They just have a different way of doing things. Most Spoonies are actually very creative. I found that in that community over on the other platform that was banned for a month, or excuse me, banned for like 12 hours and then brought back, there's a lot of creative people. We've got Liz, the funny soap lady, again, whose scrollers running across the bottom. She makes soaps and lotions and shampoos and body washes and deodorants. There are a number of other photographers there are a number of other photographers besides myself over there, like I was saying. There are graphic designers over there. So it's not that we're lazy. We just have a different way of doing what we need to do to get through the day. So please, if you see somebody, this for me is a big thing. If you see somebody and you know that they are canceling, if you make plans and they cancel on you, it's not you. 9 times out of 10, it's not you. It's what they're going through. You need to be cognizant of their issues because you don't know what they're going through. They may just be having a really bad day energy-wise. I know a couple of times this past week, because we've had some really screwy weather. I won't even say this because the seasons are changing, because they're not yet anyway. I've woken up with headaches, and when you have hydrocephalus, barometric pressure can really screw with you. And I have woken up with headaches to the point where I just wanted to roll over and go back to sleep, because it just, the light hurt my eyes. It was daytime. You can't turn off the sun, but, or you can't turn off the daylight. So you've just got to learn to deal with it. But, it's just a different lifestyle. And people are not, like I was just saying a moment ago, they're not cognizant sometimes of what they're saying. It's okay to ask a Spoonie what their spoon count is for the day. It's not okay to judge them for how they use their spoons. Thank you, Dr. Finet, for saying for that. I will give proper credit where proper credit is due. Yes, and I'm going to probably say his name another 10 times during this live stream because I find it amusing. I don't know how I would live with that name, but anyway. I'm just, it caught me off guard when Mrs. Mutt said that she wanted to discuss the spoon theory on here. But when I saw that literally 60% of Americans suffer from some form of a chronic disorder, it kind of made sense. I'm curious to see what RFK does with some of his sweeping changes he wants to make. I'm not going to get into politics, but I am curious to see what some of his sweeping changes are going to be, and see if that helps lower some of those numbers. But, I guess we'll see. I'm not... I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to get into politics. I've already said that. I'm feeling a little out of sorts tonight. I'm used to having my bestie here with me, and the fact that she's not here right now, bounce things off of. It kind of feels a little odd, to be honest, because we were really gonna kind of go over this together. So I'm feeling like I've got partial notes. But I'm going to give it the old college try to continue to do this. That number 6 out of 10 is just. I know I keep harping on that, but it just is mind blowing. I did not, until I started doing the research, realize that. Now, back to Christine Rizamandino a minute. She is a blogger, so I don't know if, but you don't look sick, what all she covers in that. I have not actually been over to the site personally, but I do know that the original essay, which came out in 2003, is there still on the site. So you might want to go and check that out. There are a lot of people who check out Ruby's TikTok because she's from New York. TikTok chat with Ruby Santiago. There are a lot of people who don't, until they hear her explain it or talk about it, realize that they themselves are Spoonies, or they don't realize that there is a way for you to explain. Finally, you have a way to explain what's going on with you, which was my case. People would say, "Well, you're always talking about how tired you are." Yeah, I just had a half a golf ball sized tumor removed and spent 6 months having literal chemicals dumped into my system to kill off any possible other tumors from forming. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that I'm going to be a little wiped out. I've even been accused by one individual who we are not going to name here, ladies and gentlemen, because she's just not worth mentioning, accused me of faking having cancer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It has actually, people have gone so far as to say that I am faking having had cancer. That I'm faking having what is potentially lymphedema, which is a severe swelling of the lower extremities. Really? I'm faking it? Well, then I'm doing one heck of a job, going from 250 pounds to where I'm at now, and I'm not going to give that number out, which is more than 250 pounds. I mean, to tell you, just from the fluid. People's insensitiveness, there we go, or inconsiderateness is mind-blowing to me. What would possess a person to think that saying something about another person's life and death struggle is fake? What possesses a person to say that kind of thing? After a half a year of chemo, oh, thank God. Absolutely, Mac. Absolutely. That's great news to get a clean bill of health on, for your buddy. I'm glad to hear that. I bet he's seriously relieved. Mac says that he got a call from his friend who had gotten a clean scan today after a year and a half of chemo. Oh my God, a year and a half. I did 6 months and I thought I was going to lose my mind for prostate cancer. Wow. Yeah, they really are answered, Mac. He says the prayers have been answered. Yes, they have. I 100% agree with that, buddy. I'm not going to repeat that, Mac. I'm not going to repeat that. I don't disagree with you, but I'm not going to repeat it. No. I'm going to try to be nice. Be the bigger wait a minute. I am the bigger person. I outweigh her by about. Never mind. We won't go there. And I'm a good 4 inches taller than she is, so I am the bigger person. Anyway, Mac with the one-line zinger there. Oh, by the way, buddy, you kind of left you left a little chalk on that in that one corner of the chalkboard last week. I don't think I didn't notice that you kind of tried to skip out early from cleaning those chalkboards. You was late, and then you tried to skip out early on me. What in the world? You funny. But anyway, if anybody has any questions, I would happily answer them. I can even let somebody pop up if they're interested in discussing the spoon theory. We're not going outside of that context. For this live, this is not an open forum. And no, Mac, you can't come up and tell us what you really think of Sparky. Damn it, you got me to say her name. We love you, Sparks. Anyway, but yeah, I've actually known Spoonies who just getting out of bed has literally taken all the spoons they've had. Forget the rest of the day. That's why I chose the thumbnail for this show that I did. Spoonies have hidden strength few know. Sometimes it takes every bit. Archie Bunker was on. Sometimes it takes every bit of that strength just to handle your business, as it were. So they do have a strength that few people see because people think they're lazy. They're not lazy. They don't lack a work ethic. They are just dealing with things that aren't visible to the naked eye. So people think everything is okay. You never know what's going on behind the eyes that you look into. You don't know what's going on. You really don't. And it just is mind-blowing to me that some people think it's okay to just judge somebody because they're quote-unquote lazy. No. If I were lazy, I wouldn't be working on a book. I wouldn't be designing. I wouldn't have designed 9 different pieces of Spoonie merch. Would not have opened 2 online stores. No, I'm not lazy. I just have a different way of doing things. And I challenge anybody, I dare anybody to say that I'm lazy without knowing what I've been through. I can shut you down just as quick as you can stand up on that one. Do I run out of energy? Yes. But do I jump right back on it when that second wind of energy hits me? Yes. So, I guess my thing is, does plastic cutlery work? Where's Art Bell when you need him? I don't know. Does plastic cutlery work? I'm not even sure. Yeah, you know what? Actually, you know what, Mac? Yeah. One of the videos I watched, Mac, Dude, literally, he had a box of what must have been 1,000 plastic spoons, and he dumped it upside down and said, "This could be somebody's one day," or and then he picks up a single spoon. This could be their only day. So yeah, I guess plastic spoons would work. Yeah, I kid you not. When he dumped that box upside down on the table for the video, I was like, "Whoa!" So yeah, plastic spoons work. Sometimes you got a plastic spoon. Sometimes you got a baby spoon. Sometimes you got a cooking. Sometimes you got one of those big soup ladles. So it doesn't. You can start out your day with a soup ladle, and by the end of your day, you're dealing with a baby spoon. I mean, that's literally that's how it. Or it can go the other way around too. So you can start out your day with a baby spoon, and as the day progresses, for some reason, your energy level picks up, and you've got a soup ladle by the end of the day. Rare does that happen. Rare is it that actually happens that way, but it's usually the other way around. I'll be honest. But and there are mitigating circumstances on how many spoons you wake up. If you've had a rough night, if you've had a bad night's sleep, if if the weather is bad when you first wake up in the morning, and weather affects your joints or your muscles, that can affect how your day goes. Climate plays a big, climate, air pressure, temperature, can play havoc on people with chronic illnesses. I know for me, like I said earlier, with having a literal barometric, almost a literal barometric pressure reader in my head, I can tell you the day before it rains that it's going to rain the next day, because of the shunt in my head for the hydrocephalus. So it different things can affect how your day goes, and people don't see that either. They're like, "Well, yesterday you were killing it. Today you're barely making it. You're barely making it. What gives?" Well, that was yesterday. Today's today. You don't know how I slept last night. You don't know if I slept last night. Did I wake up in the middle of the night with all of my joints hurting? Yep, sure did. That didn't happen to me yesterday, but it did today. So, and I'm just using that as an example, ladies and gentlemen. So people have got to learn to be more considerate. They're not going to, because that's just human nature. Human beings are very judgmental of other humans, and that's just the way that works. But a man can hope. A man can truly hope. That's all I can say. Excuse me 1 second, folks. I know with Mrs. Mutt, and I don't think I'm speaking out of church here or out of school. For her, it's a matter of her mental, her depression and her anxiety levels. I know that the last couple of days, because of things going on with school, for example, she's been very stressed, very, very stressed the last couple of days. And I think that's part of what's causing the problem with her today. The other part is that she had oral surgery this past week, and she's still having some complications with that. So, between the stress and her mouth still hurting from having a couple of teeth removed, she's just at her wit's end right now. That's, to be quite honest with you, why I told her not to even worry about tonight's show. I got this. I was doing this before she and I got back together. I can do the show by myself. I don't enjoy it as much. I do enjoy you all. Don't get me wrong. But I enjoy the back and forth camaraderie between she and I. So, I feel kind of like I'm half dressed right now because my other half isn't here. So maybe if you're watching, if you're one of the 3 people up there that's in the lurker box, I love you. So, wait a minute. What did Mac say? Hold on. Mac, for those of y'all who don't know who catch this later, Mac can sometimes be our comedy relief. Worked for a silversmith. Didn't know there were so many silver spoons. Breathed enough dust to a tablespoon to excrete a tablespoon. Even that much silver dust, you could have excreted a tablespoon. I don't know that I'd want to use that spoon, Mac. I'll be honest with you. That would be kind of creepy. Just saying. That would kind of creep me out a little bit. 100%, Mac. 100%. You live or you love my better half. I know what you meant. You meant you guys love my better half. Yes, I know, and she does too. Believe me, she knows, and she loves you all as well. She was a little upset that she wasn't going to be able to do the show tonight, but just like we were talking about, she's hit her spoon limit. Her spoons are depleted. And I made the judgment call. If she had said that she was 100% against me telling her not to do it, I got you, brother. I got you. Trust me. Hey, like I told you earlier, I'm running according to autocorrect. I was running a stroller across the bottom of the screen, not running the scroller, but a stroller across the bottom. It just, I get it. Trust me. Gotta love autocorrect and gotta love Google. 100%, brother. I'm right there with you. But had Danny, aka Mrs. Mutt, decided that she wanted to do the show, I wouldn't have fought her on it. At least not on air. I'm kidding. No, she needed to get the rest. Like I said, her spoons are done for the night. So I thank you all for your indulgence in sticking with me while I attempt to do this show by myself tonight. But anyway, I will say, and by the way, we're now just going to go into a general chat here for a second. Next week, we are going to be doing history of the Cold War. And the following week after that, we're going to be discussing Thomas Jefferson. So yeah, we've got the next couple of weeks kind of planned out. But yeah, we will be doing the Cold War. The history of it, odd and unusual facts, I think, is going to be the angle I take for the Cold War. Because there are some odd facts out there, ladies and gentlemen. Some very, very odd facts indeed. Like, why are they finding people still living at Chernobyl around Chernobyl? That's here nor there. Stay tuned if you really want to know the answer to that one. Join us next week for that show. there's a little teaser for you, ladies and gents. I am going to cut this one short tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all very much for joining us, or joining me tonight. Hopefully, Mrs. Mutt will be back next week, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to go. Please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, as she is just really kind of recuperating right now, which she very much needs. It's my turn to take care of her as best I can, after she took care of me for so long while I was dealing with my half a golf ball size problem. Wait a minute. What is this? Hold on. Wait a minute. YouTube, 4 spoons and 4.2 batteries and a nickel. There's a real spoon. There is real spoon power. Okay, Mac. That sounds scary. I'm not gonna lie. YouTube, 4 spoons and 4.2. 4. Oh, good Lord. Well, things will work out. You know us, Mac. You know we're gonna bounce back. You know how we do. We're gonna be just fine. But like I said, it's just my turn to take care of her. Make sure she looks after herself. She's gonna be all right. So yeah. But by all means, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, real quick, I'm going to shout out Artistic Soap Designs real quick. I know I opened the show talking about them, but all of their stuff is done by one person. It's all handmade. There are no parabens in it. There's nothing artificial in it. Go to the website, check it out. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, she does carry men's scents. I personally have used the Cuban tobacco, and I also have and absolutely love the cherry vanilla pipe tobacco scented beard oil and beard balm. So that's just one example, but there's an entire list. If you go to the website, she can run down the whole list for you. Anyway, we will catch you all on the flip side. See you next week. Take care of yourselves and each other. And until then, we are out.